To the Metropolitan Opera live in HD. I am Nathalie Dessay. Normally, at this time, I would be preparing myself and diving into character for a performance here on the Met stage. But today, I am very excited to be your host for John Doyle's new production of Benjamin Britten's Peter Grimes. This enormous wall is the main element of a remarkable set. And as you can see, everyone is getting ready for this show to begin. Anthony Dean Griffith stars as Peter Grimes, the outcast fisherman who is judged by this community for crimes he may or may not have committed. It is one of the most intense and challenging tenor roles in all of opera, and it requires strong acting as well as beautiful singing. In so many operas, the quality of the libretto does not match the music. So I love Peter Grimes because the text is just as important. Today's performance is being shown live in movie theaters all over the world. Maestro Donald Runnicles is ready to go to the orchestra pit, and the singers are in place for the show to begin. And now, the sad, horrible story of Peter Grimes.
Now calling Maestro Runnicles to the pit, please. Maestro, this is your call to the pit. Thank you.
Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes. Peter Grimes, we are here to investigate the cause of death of your apprentice, William Spode, whose body you brought ashore from your boat, the Point Billy, on the 26th ultimo. Do you wish to give evidence? Will you step into the box? Peter Grimes, take the oath after me. I swear by Almighty God.
I swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give At the evidence I shall give shall be the truth. Shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. Tell the court the story in your own words. You sailed your boat around the coast with the intention of putting into London. Why did you do this? We'd caught a huge catch, too big to sell here. And the boy died on the way. The wind turned against us, blew us off our course. We ran out of drinking water. How long were you at sea? 3 days. What happened next? He died lying there among the fish. What did you do? Threw them all overboard, set sail for home. You mean you threw the fish overboard? When you landed, did you call for help? I called Ned Keene. The apothecary here? Was there anybody else called? Somebody brought the parson. You mean the rector, Mr. Horace Adams. All right, Mr. Adams. Was there a certain amount of excitement? Bob Bow started shouting. There was a scene in the village street from which you were rescued by our landlady. Yes, my aunt. We don't call her that here. You then took to abusing a respectable lady. And Sonny, you shouted abuse at a certain person. See who? See who? See who? Mrs. Sadley here. I don't like interference. Someone doesn't sleep at night. Someone doesn't sleep at night. Silence! At night. Silence! Now tell me this. Who helped you carry the boy home? The schoolmistress, the widow, Mrs. Ellen Orford. Silence! Silence! Mrs. Orford, Mrs. Schoolmistress, the widow. How did you come into this? I did what I could to help. Why should you help this kind of fellow, callous, brutal, and coarse? There's something here, perhaps in your favor. I am told you rescued the boy from drowning in the March storms. Have you something else to say? No? Then I have. Peter Grimes, I here advise you, do not get another boy apprentice. Get a fisherman to help you, big enough to stand up for himself. Our verdict is that William Spode, your apprentice, died in accidental circumstances. But that's the kind of thing people are apt to remember. When the crowd sits upon it, sits upon it, fix the cage, fix the cage, fix the cage, silence! 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 Like every other fisherman, I have to hire an apprentice. I must have help. Then get a woman to help you look after him. That's what I want, but not yet. Why not? Not till I stop people's mouths. Stand down, clear the court, stand down. Stand down, you say. You wash your hands. The case goes on in people's minds. The charges that no court has made will be shouted at my head. Then let me speak. Let me stand trial. Bring the accusers into the hall. Let me thrust into the house the truth itself. The truth, the truth itself. the court. Clear the court.
Not truth, not pity, and the truth. Peter, Peter, come away. Up your anchors, hoist your sails. Shoo, shoo. Dr. Crab, he drinks good health to all diseases. Storm, storm. A long way out, sea horses. The wind is holding back the tide. If it veers around, watch for your lives. And if the springtime is the land again, still in the cottages and cobbled walls of
But if they wink, you're eager to follow.
I'm coming tonight to see your nieces.
God's storm drowned your hot desires.
Stay the tide, or I shall share your fears. Impotence of give us a hand. Boats!
Hold it yourself, Grimes.
Aye, somebody bring the rope. I'll give her hand, the tide is near the turn. We'll drown the causes in a tidal storm.
Oh, since we moralize and fools decide not to put the public takes either side.
Oh, all away, the tide is near the turn. And invented waters, but tides have none.
This lost soul of a fisherman must be shunned by respectable society. The spotless land, she I've got a apprentice for you.
A workhouse brat!
I called at the workhouse yesterday. All you do now is fetch the boy. We'll send the carter with a note. He'll bring your bargain on his cart. Jim Hobson, we've a job for you. But first, more than I can do. Listen, Jim, you'll go to the workhouse and ask for Mr. Keeney's purchase. Bring him back to Grimes. But first, I have no room. Hobson, you'll do what there is to be done.
Is this a Christian country? Are pauper children so enslaved that their bodies go for cash?
Hobson, will you do your job? I have to go from pub to pub, picking up parcels, standing about. My journey back is late at night. Mister, find some other way to bring your boy back. He's right. He's right. Dirty jobs. Dirty jobs. To find some other way to bring your boy back. Dirty jobs. He's right. To find some other...
I'll mind your passenger. Whatever you say, I'm not ashamed. Somebody must do the job. The carter goes from pub to pub, picking up parcels, standing about. The boy needs comfort late at night. He needs a welcome on the road. Coming here strange, he'll be afraid. Oh, mind your passenger.
Mrs. Morgan is talking sense.
Have you my pills?
I'm sorry,
A
man.
sleeping draught?
The laudanum is out of stock and being brought by Mr. Carrier Hobson's cart. He's back tonight.
Good Lord! Good Lord! Good Lord!
Meet us both in the pub. The Boar, Aunties we call it. It's quite safe.
I've never been in a pub in my life.
You'll come
All right,
tonight.
all right.
If the old dear takes much more laudanum, she'll land herself one day in Bedlam.
Look, the storm a come. The wind veers in from the sea at gale force. Now as I tide and see horses in gale force,
God has his ways which are not ours. His high tide swallows up the
And do you prefer the storm to Aunties pallor and the rum?
I live alone, the habit grows.
Grimes, since you're a lonely soul, born to blocks and spars and ropes, why not try the wider sea with merchantman or privateer?
I am native, rooted here.
Rooted by what?
By familiar fields, marsh and sand, ordinary streets, prevailing wind.
You'd sleep these mornings if you had the mind.
By the shut faces of the badlands, and by the kindness of the casual glance.
You'll find the comfort there. When an urchin's quarrelsome, rolling at his little games, father stops him with a threat. You'll be sold to Peter Grimes.
You apprentices, children taught to be ashamed of the legend on their faces. You've been sold to Peter Grimes.
Then the crowner sits to hint, but not to mention crimes, and publishes an open verdict. Whispered about this Peter Grimes. Your boy was workhouse starved. Maybe you're not to blame, he died.
us like that evil day. We strained into the wind heavily laden. We plunged into the waves' shuddering challenge. Then the sea rose to a storm over the gunwales, and the boys' silent reproach turned to illness. Then home among fishing nets, alone, alone, with a childish stare. This story so swell, you can speak your mind, and never mind the banner commentary. There is more grandeur in a gale of wind. To free confession, set her conscience free. They listen to money, these borrowed gossips. I have my visions, fiery visions. They call me dreamer. They scoff at my dreams and my ambition. But I know a way to answer the prayer. I'll win them over. With the new apprentice, but so together. These borrowed gossips listen to money, only to money. A fish the sea dry are the good catches. That wealthy merchant Grimes will set up hustling shop. You will all see it. I'll marry Ellen. I'll marry Ellen. I'll marry Ellen. And go and ask her. Without your booty, she'll have you now. No, not for pity. Then your tragedy is in store. You start with new apprentice just as before. What Peter Grimes decides? This is unfair. This is unfair. You start with new apprentice just as before. But it will try, shout the storm down as he can. As he can. As he can. Where your money is. Put it where your money is. The storm is here. I know.
of weak politeness makes a publican lose her clients. Keep in the corner out of sight.
That's a bit of a cane, all right. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you, missus. You'll give the regulars a surprise.
She's meeting Ned,
Which Ned?
the quack. He's looking after her heart attack.
Bring us a pint.
It's closing time.
Faithful female, why should you mind?
The storm.
Did you hear? The tide is broken over the northern road!
Get those shutters! You faithful female, why do you leave your windows naked? Better strip a knee so to and clamp your shutters. Perhaps in gin. Do you think we should stop a storm for such as you? Coming all over palpitations. Ooh, ooh. Auntie, get some new relations.
Old man, I never did have time for the kind of creature who spits in his wine. A joke's a joke and fun is fun. A joke's a joke and fun is fun. But say your grace and be on it for all that we have done.
This is no place for me. This is no place for me. This is no place for me. This is no...
Old man, not bad enough to be playing your part in old company. A joke's a joke and fun is fun. A joke's a joke and fun is fun. But say your grace and be polite for all that we have done.
This is no place for me. This is no place for me. This is no place for me. This is no...
Old man.
There's been a landslide up the coast.
I'm drunk. You're a Methody wastrel.
Is this a niece of yours?
That's so.
Who is her father?
Who wants to know?
I want to pay my best respects to the beauty and misery of her sex.
Old Methody, you'd better tune your piety to another hymn.
I want her.
Turn that man out.
He's the local preacher. He's lost a way of carrying liquor. He means no harm.
No, I mean
We live and let live and look. We keep our hands to ourselves. Our conversation should depend on this eternal model. So long as Saturn don't descend to fisticuff for quarrel, live and let live and look, we keep our hands to ourselves. Live and let live and look, we keep our hands to ourselves. We sit and drink the evening through, not deigning to devote our thought to the daily cut we chew, but pine drinks by rota.
Flip is down up by Grimes' hut.
Where is he? Thank God you've come!
You won't blow away.
The cart is on the half an hour late.
You'll be later still. The road's under flood.
I can't stay longer. I refuse.
You'll have to stay if you want your pills.
With drunken females and in broad.
They're Auntie's nieces, that's what they are. And better than you for kissing her. Find that door! Find that door! Find that I'll charge her for it. This widow's as strong as any two fishermen I have met. Everybody's very quiet.
Like a flashy turmoil o'er the shore of hell.
Before the cataract that blinds his eyes. Get out! Get out! His exercise is not with men, but killing boys.
a sign. Oh, Joe has gone fishing, and young Joe has gone fishing, and you know has gone fishing and found them a shoal. Oh, Joe has gone fishing, and young Joe has gone fishing, and you know has gone fishing and found them a shoal. Joe has gone fishing, and Joe has gone fishing, and Joe has gone fishing and found them a shoal. Joe has gone fishing, and Joe has gone fishing, and Joe has gone fishing and found them a shoal. And your cart, is it seaworthy?
We're chilled to the bone.
Serves you right, woman?
My dear, there's brandy and hot water to spare. Yes, look at the boy, tell me. Nice, sweet thing. Not for such as you.
Let's go. You ready?
Let them warm up. They've been half drowned.
Time to get off.
Your hearts are washed away.
Only the cliff. Young Prentice, come.
Goodbye, my dear. God bless you. Peter will take you home.
Do you call her?
Work lights, hold on a moment. Work lights on stage now, please. And extra lights for the interviews. Thank you.
Pat and Tony, thank you very much for being here with us in the middle of a performance. So I would like to ask you, Tony, how do you prepare for such a role? How do you dive in the character, and how many hours does it take?
I think I've been preparing for this role all my life. I think I was born to sing Peter Grimes. It's a role that means so much to me because it has such a strong message to society. I grew up very shy, and so singing was an outlet for me to express myself.
And you, Pat, you have a kind-hearted character.
Yes.
She stands up to an entire village, plus she knits very well.
She knits very well. I do really knit, so, but I don't knit nearly as well as the sweater that you'll see in Act 3, but, you know, suspension of belief. My character is very, very kind-hearted, but more so. She's a woman of a great purpose, and a woman that believes in the good that exists in all human beings. And I think that's an important aspect
that
to
she
her.
see anything
She absolutely
good
sees,
in
yes,
him.
absolutely. She sees value, and she realizes he takes a little more effort, and he takes a bit more patience, and she's, I think, disappointed in her community behaving as they do towards someone a little bit different.
Tony, there is, of course, an ambiguity about this character. Do you have an answer yourself? Is he, according to you, guilty or not guilty?
Well,
and do you have to know that?
I think you do have to know that as an artist who's portraying the character. I think it's left up to the audience to decide. I believe innocent until proven guilty.
But what did you decide? Depends on the production?
It depends on the production itself, and also, I know in my heart of hearts, but I think it's best left up to the audience to decide.
Okay.
So you're saying the ambiguity is
Yes.
more interesting.
So
Yes.
we stay
Then-
with that.
then
We
just
stay
stay-
with that.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. And how is it to sing in English for both of you? Because
I
it's so
love
rare.
it. I love it for many reasons. It's my native tongue, and I think it is an expressive language. It can pose some difficulties in terms of diphthongs and whatnot, and some of the vowels, like hand, are a little tricky. But it instructs the artist to how it is important in whatever language we sing in to make sure it is layered with meaning, as we do in our own native tongue, with sort of a second nature, if you will, to the layering of the subtext and meaning.
All right.
Okay, do you want to tell anything to your hometown friends? Because they watch you today on TV.
Yes,
So.
I would like to say hello to all my friends from High Point, North Carolina, especially to my mom, all the church folks who are in Concord gathered right now, all my friends at Wingate University who are in Charlotte today. I'd like to say hello to all of them. I feel like I just won the Oscar.
Thank you very much, both of you. You can get
Thank
ready
you
for the
having me.
rest of the opera.
Our pleasure. Thanks,
you.
Natalie.
Thanks. Thank you. Goodbye. So today Peter Grimes is being seen in more than 600 movie theaters in 15 countries all over the world. And by coincidence, this performance is the first to be carried in Benjamin Britten's town of Aldborough on the east coast of England. We thought it would be interesting to take you there, so let's go to Alex Dunlop of BBC East, live at the Aldborough Cinema.
Thanks very much, Natalie. Well, welcome to Aldborough, and you can actually smell the sea air which so pervades this opera. Behind me, Aldborough Cinema, and you can see it dates back to the 18th century. Now, 250 people inside are enjoying their first experience of opera live from the Met via satellite. Now, Benjamin Britten, of course, had very close associations with this town, so much so that when he was ennobled, made a life peer a few months before he died, he took the title Lord Britten of Aldborough. Now, quite a few of those here tonight, I should imagine, knew him, among them Susan Harrison, the cinema's house director. Susan, am I right in thinking that Lord Benjamin Britten actually helped to save the cinema?
Oh, yes. Many years ago, when the owner died, Benjamin Britten and others got together, saved our cinema so we could still carry on trading. And here we are 90 years from the beginning of trading. And so we carry on.
That was back in the 60s. It would have been demolished, I suppose.
Well, who knows? I mean, with Aldborough, who knows? But we are here, and thank goodness for him.
Well,
you know,
Susan, it's standing proud and still flourishing.
It's been wonderful.
Thank you very much
Thanks
indeed.
to the Met.
Well, of course, everywhere you go in this Suffolk seaside resort, there are constant reminders of the Britten legacy. Scenes which inspired arguably the greatest English composer of the 20th century. Benjamin Britten was born just up the coast, but he lived most of his life here in Aldborough. The connection goes deeper still. Peter Grimes is inspired by a poem by George Crabbe, who lived here 250 years ago. Britten and his lifetime partner, the tenor Peter Pears, came across Crabbe's work at a bookshop in California. As pacifists, they had left England for America in 1939. Work on the opera began after they returned home to the old mill at Snape, just outside Aldborough. Close to the seafront, the 400-year-old Moot Hall, setting for the opera's prologue. Peter Grimes premiered in London in 1945, its central role created for Pears.
I was also a composer of a sort at that time. But of course, after knowing Ben for a bit of time and living with him, there was no question of what I did with my compositions. I tore them up, threw them away. One couldn't compete.
In 1948, they helped to found the now famous Aldborough Festival. Many of Britten's works premiered here. Other legacies remain. A plaque on the wall by the seafront. On the beach, this controversial sculpture was recently erected. Britten died in 1976, his partner 10 years later. Side by side in life, today in Aldborough graveyard, 2 simple stones commemorate their lives. Their Aldborough home, Red House, remains as it was. Here, the most comprehensive collection for any composer in the world, a lasting legacy of 2 greats.
Well, with me now is Kevin Gosling from the Britten Peers Foundation in Aldborough. Kevin, thank you for joining us tonight. Britten's house is literally just 2 or 3 minutes walk away from here, and preserved just as it was when he was there. Why is that?
That's right. Well, it's very much what Britten and Peers wanted. They established the foundation, or the beginnings of the foundation, in Britten's lifetime.
And there are hundreds of manuscripts that you're still going through 30 years after his death. It's quite extraordinary.
That's right. Britten published about 100 works, but we've got about 800 manuscripts that he wrote from about the age of 8 until he went to the Royal College of Music that haven't been published and haven't even been catalogued, and we have 2 people just working on that.
But that's highly unusual that you've got so much in one location.
That's right. We think it's the most comprehensive composer archive of any composer in the world.
And briefly, will that be available to a wider public?
Yes, a lot of the material already is on our website, our catalogue records, and we're producing a full thematic catalogue next year.
Okay, Kevin Gosling, thanks very much indeed. And now I and all of us gathered here tonight for this historic relay have great pleasure in handing you back to the Metropolitan Opera House in New York.
I'm here with Donald Palombo, the Met's brilliant chorus director. Donald joined the Met last year, and I can tell you from my experience, the chorus sounds better than ever.
Thank you very much.
So in this opera, the chorus has really a leading role.
Yes.
So how long did it take to learn and to sing it?
I think we started the music rehearsals about a month before we actually started staging, because of course here at the Met, we're not just doing Peter Grimes, we have so many other operas to work on. So I think we had approximately 26 hours of music rehearsal on Grimes, but of course we were doing other operas at the same time, so it was spread out over quite a long period.
They sing, I think, 26
operas this year.
This year? How do they do that?
Well,
is it every day, every morning, for example?
Well, I think certainly Monday through Friday with the 2 performances on Saturday, our weeks are full. But this is a great chorus. They're used to this sort of a schedule, and what we've tried to do is make sure that we focus on the task at hand each day. Worry about the performance that night. If we have to do a lot of singing that day, we try to be very careful with our voices and make sure that we're fresh vocally for every performance.
The chorus sounds fantastic. What is your secret?
Well,
do you beat them?
No, I do
Are you
not.
Nice?
No, I'm very nice to them. They're a wonderful chorus. I certainly inherited an incredible instrument. They're so dedicated. They're so willing to work the long hours. I think the approach we took is basically that we were going to use every rehearsal to, of course, learn the music, but also to take some time in every rehearsal to work on our vocalism. A chorus is only as good as each individual can actually sing. So we took a lot of care in making sure that we got the sound, the articulation, the diction set in each of the many operas that we had to perform. And then when we switched operas, we just were able to recapture that for each performance.
Fantastic. And can you tell us something about Britten, because he's well known for being a great choral composer?
He's written a lot of choral music, but I think the interesting thing about Britten is his opera choral music is so successful. I think he understood how important it was to make the music for the chorus clear and transparent for the audience. In this opera, it's very important for the chorus text to be heard by the audience. And I think he was careful to use direct, not overly complex writing for the chorus. There's a lot of unison, and there are a lot of dynamic markings and very specific phrasings that are indicated primarily to highlight the text. And again, Grimes, we have so many opportunities to dramatically enter into the opera. It's a great piece for the chorus.
Thank you very much, Donald.
Thank you, Nathalie.
Thank you. And now I'm going into the wardrobe room where the costumes for today's performance are prepared. I'm going to be speaking with Anne Holdward, who designed the beautiful costumes for this production. Hello, Anne.
Hello. How are you now?
So, fine, thank you. And can you tell us about these beautiful costumes? I see that there are realistic elements in them and also fanciful touches.
Yes. Basically, we started with the period of that Dr. Crabbe wrote the poems from 1830s, but extrapolated from there to general Victorian clothing, and the silhouettes follow very much what that was. Simple, as if in a fishing village, what would people really have had? Into that, when I visited in Hastings, the fishing town that we actually used as the impetus for this, where John Doyle, our director, is from. We went to the beaches and we saw birds on the beaches, and John, we began together to have many ideas that came from those abstract elements within a fishing village, and took those things and applied them into what was the real silhouette. For instance, the ladies' capes you've been watching on stage, which on close look you can see that they actually have fishing nets in the back of them.
Fantastic.
And so, which is what they were mending, each one of them were mending their own capes, really. And then they have sections on the back which are done like bird wings. So they're almost like a group of crows on the beach in how they relate to Peter Grimes and Ellen.
And do you think it's very different to make costumes for opera versus to make costumes for theater, for example?
Not so different. Of course, in this house, you are in a much larger house than the normal theater house, which might be, a big one is 1,800 people, where here we're in a 3,500 seat house. So you have the distance to get across for people to really be able to see the texture and the elements of things. But as far as working with singers, I think normally a designer is trying to very much for the comfort of their rib cage, their breathing, their neck. But also, if you design a lot of musicals, those are things that the actors are also needing very much.
Thank you very much, Anne, and bravo for your fantastic costumes.
Thank you. It's lovely to talk with you.
Thank you. And now, Act 2 of Peter Grimes.
Please, Maestro, this is your call to the pit. Thank you.
we not go to church this Sunday and to our knitting by the sea? I'll do the work. You talk. Nothing to tell me, nothing to say. Then shall I tell you what your life was like? Say if I'm right. I think you liked your workhouse with its grave and pillow. Perhaps your work's unhappy in your loneliness. When first I started teaching, my life at school to be simply and empty. But soon I found the way of my children. Little people hurt more, but are more simple. John, you may have heard the story of the apprentice Peter had before. But when you came, I said, now this is where we make a new start. Every day I pray it may be so.
Wherefore I pray and beseech you, as many as are here present, to accompany me with a pure heart and humble voice, saying after me, Almighty, Almighty, and most merciful Father, we have heard and strayed from thy ways.
There's a tear in your coat. Was that done before you came? Badly torn? That was done recently. Take your hand away. Your neck is it. John, what are you trying to hide? Oh, Bruce! oceans deep, like oceans deep.
Come, boy!
Peter, what for?
I see the shore, I need his help!
What if there were? Then all the boats would first be launching.
I can see the shoals to which the rest are blind.
This is a Sunday, his day of rest.
This is whatever day I say it is. Come, boy! Come, boy!
You in John have fished a week, night and day without a break. Painting boat, mending nets, cleaning fish, now look at this.
Come, boy!
What's your bargain?
My bargain!
His weekly rest.
He works for me. Leave him alone. He's mine.
Hush, Peter. Hush, Peter. Hush, Peter. This unrelenting work, this grey unresting industry, what aim, what future, what place will your heart profits buy?
Buy us a home, buy us respect, and buy us freedom from pain of grinning at gossip's tales. Believe me, we shall be free.
Tell me one thing, whether yet you got that ugly bruise.
Out of the hurly-burly!
Your ways are hard and rough beyond his days. Peter, we write in what we plan to do. We write.
Take away your hand! My only hope depends on you. If you take it away, what's left? Wrong to try, wrong to live, right to die.
We mistaken when we
Wrong to struggle, wrong to hope,
through
then all was right again.
Peter, you cannot buy your peace. You'll never stop the gossip's talk with all the fish from out the sea. We were mistaken to have dreamed. Peter, We've failed. We've
So be it, and God have mercy upon
fool to let it come to this, wasting pity's wandering tears.
See the dead in his eyes,
Rises at his exercise.
What he fears is that the Lord follows with a flaming sword.
Using all your crazy eyes, rises at his exercise.
Where's the pastor of this flock? Where's the guardian shepherd's hook? Mass and choir, all at prayers.
Now the church parade begins, fresh beginning of fresh sins, ogling with our pious days.
Each one's at his exercise.
Each one's at his exercise. Each one's at his
What is it? Private business.
I heard the voices going soon, one was bright, and one more calm.
While you worship idols there, the devil had his Sabbath here.
A treating that old boy again.
Crimes is where the wise and skilled in the practice of his trade let him be. Let us forget what slander can invade. What do you suppose? Crimes is at his exercise. Crimes is at his exercise. What is it? What do you suppose? Crimes is at his exercise. Fill their self-esteem by inventing cruelty. Crimes is at his exercise. So the law restrains to impeachment and crimes is at his exercise. The only friends in the world purpose to crimes is at his exercise.
That not within decent it is never sure.
Crimes is at his exercise.
I cast the water away, is this my burden for all? Oh, the dangerous way is this that give him souls equality.
Crimes is at his exercise. Crimes is at his exercise. Paracos it starts, somebody will suffer. Crimes is at his exercise.
I will speak. This thing here concerns you all. Turn thumping, rent assistant, uncivilized, and unchristian. Something of the sort befits that's conceived outside the sheets. There's a parson in his black. Is he here? Is he not? Where's the parson? A sinful straying flock. Is it my business? Your business to ignore, throwing at your door evils like your fancy flower.
No! Tell me what it is. Ellen, dear, see, I've gathered all your things. Come rest inside.
She can tell you, Ellen Orphan, Ellen Orphan, Ellen Orphan, Ellen Orphan.
house.
We planned that their lives should have a new start. That I, as a friend, could make the plan work by bringing comfort where their lives
Learn to be worldly wise, but your souls were dark.
We planned this time to care for the
Oh, little care you for the plaintiff, so his welfare.
save him from danger and hardship.
Call it danger, call it hardship, or plain murder.
Bring his cause in giving him
And to dainty hearts in quest can make a prophet souls with honor. Hearing gossips, this is not your business.
Swallow, shall we go and see Grimes in his hut?
Popular feelings rising.
Oswald, I'd like you to come.
I warn you, we shall waste our time.
I'd like your presence just the same.
Little do the suspects know, I've the evidence, I've the clue.
Now we will find out the worst. So I tell no bobtail if you please.
Back to the gutter! You keep out of this! Only the men, the women
Start a horse and fetch the drum. Summon the monarch to Grimes' hut. To Grimes' hut! To Grimes' hut!
Is the simple untrue?
Your sea boots. Take those bright and fancy buckles off your feet. There's your oilskin and sou'wester. Stir your pins. We must get ready. jersey that she knitted, with the anchor that she patterned. I'll tear the collar off your neck. Steady! Don't take fright, boy. Stop! Look, now is a chance. The house is boiling. Get the nets. Come by. They listen to money. These borrowed gossips listen to money. Only to money are viciously dried from the market. Now is our chance to get a good catch. Get money to choke down rumor's throat. I will set up with house and home and shut. I'll marry Helen. I'll marry Helen. I've built myself some kind of home, warm in my heart and in a golden crown. May there be no more fear and no more storm. And she will soon forget her schoolhouse ways, forget the labor of those weary days, wrapped round in kindness, like September. While learned at their books have no more store of wisdom on which close behind our door. Compared with us, of which none would be. I've seen in stars the life that we might share, seen in stars the life we'd share, fruit in the garden, children by the shore, a white and doorstep, and a woman's care. And a woman's care. What dreaming builds, what dreaming can disown? Dead fingers stretch themselves to tear it down. I hear those voices that will not be drowned. Sometimes I see that boy here in this hut. He's there now. I can see him. He is there. His eyes are on me as they were that evil day. Stop moaning, boy! Water? There is no more water. You had the last yesterday. We'll soon be home. In harbor still and deep. There's an odd procession here, parson, and swallow coming near. Wait! You've been talking, and that begs your gossiping. What lies have you been telling? The birds climbing up the hill to get me. Oh, I'm not scared. I'll send them both with a flea in their ear. I'll show them. Grimes ahoy! Grimes ahoy! You sit there watching me, and you're the cause of everything. Your eyes like his are watching me with an idiot shooting gaze. We'll move, or must I make you dance? Step boldly, boldly. For here's the way we go to sea, down the cliff to find that shoal that's falling in the sea. Careful, or you'll break your neck. Down the cliffside to the deck. All this is stuff down. All on. Now shut your eyes and don't go. Peter Grimes! Nobody here!
What about the other door?
Was this a recent landslide?
Yes.
It makes almost a precipice. How deep?
Say 40 feet.
Dangerous to leave the door open.
He used to keep his boat down there. Maybe they've both gone fishing.
Yet his heart is reasonably kept. His order, his skill.
The whole affair gives barato, it shall I say quietus. Here we come, pell-mell, expecting to find out we know not what, but all we find is a neat and empty heart. Gentlemen, take this to your wives, less interference in our private
No,
life.
I'm certainly in staying here. And will the last to go please close the door?
Hello, I'm on the stage with the director John Doyle and set designer Scott Pask. John, I know that you're from Hastings and we saw footage of Aldeborough. So are they your inspiration for this piece?
They are really. Obviously, I know Hastings better than I know Aldborough. At Aldborough, though, like Hastings, the fishing boats come up onto the beach. So they're actually dragged up by the sailors onto the stone shore. And they're both small, and on a cold winter's day, they're fairly grey and oppressive. This is much more influenced by the architecture that you see in Hastings, where I live, which is also a fishing village, but has a series of what are called net shops or huts, wooden structures with doors and windows on many levels, where the nets were built and stored and sold.
Kurt, can you explain us how your set works?
The set's composed of the two side towers, which you see, and a larger wall, the centerpiece here, which has quite a complicated set of scaffolding and towers behind it that support it, but it's moved by computer, and it operates the motors that literally drive it up and down stage so that we can set it and time it according to the music and movements in the music. So it acts as a force within the piece as well as establishing locations and settings.
When you collaborate, what do you think first?
Oh, I think the first thing you think is, what is the story? And we talked quite a lot about the story together, didn't we? And finding the heart of what we believe the piece is about, what it says to us as human beings. And hopefully, if our collaboration works in that way, it has an influence on every aspect of the production and all the people who work on it. But really, with this, I think we were looking for a fairly oppressive, dark world that we were trying to create together.
Yeah. And our initial conversations are about style. How do we want to present the story visually on stage and communicate the ideas and our understanding from what the piece is to us?
And also, I asked Scott if we could create a world for this enormous stage that we're standing on that could close in or open up depending on the number of people that were in the scene and whether it wanted to be an intimate scene or a big crowd scene.
Okay. And how does your set communicate this sense of being an outsider for Peter Grimes?
Well, I think that it represents sort of an oppression of society and the community, and these walls that kind of are a character that oppress and are monitoring. These windows and doors are all sort of apertures of surveillance in a way for them to kind of monitor the behavior for someone who's different, someone who's either good or bad, but different from the mass of them, and the pressure that it puts on and compresses them, and it acts as a sort of weapon of their own kind of design, and it isolates Peter within those very small spaces and larger spaces, but it's really a tool of their own scrutiny.
And how would you describe your style of directing the actors?
Oh my goodness. You'd have to ask them more than anything, I think. But it's very collaborative. You know, I've been very lucky in that I have some terrific opera actors in there, you know, and I use the word actors with them all the time rather than simply the word singers, because nowadays, of course, I think that, as you know more than anybody, the whole style is changing, and the questions that are asked of the performer are changing. But this has been very collaborative, and these are very easy people to collaborate with, and trying to find a very natural style, a non-demonstrative style of performance, but a very natural style that would reflect those people who live in this English village.
Okay, thank you very much, you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The final act of Peter Grimes is about to begin. I am outside the orchestra pit with our conductor, Donald Runnicles. So, Maestro, you're from Scotland.
I'm from Scotland.
John Doyle is from Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Britten is British. So do you feel a special connection to this work because of that?
I've known the music of Benjamin Britten since I was a small boy, performing some of the music in church, so I suppose it has been part of my life for many years. Living in Edinburgh, being brought up in Edinburgh, the sea is always very much there. A very similar coastline to that of Aldborough, where Benjamin Britten lived. So yes, I suppose I have the sea and the salt in my bones.
Can you tell us about the musical language of Benjamin Britten?
It's interesting that prior to this, arguably the masterpiece of Benjamin Britten, he wrote a great deal of film music, was asked to write film music. And I think what makes this very special is it's extremely pictorial. He really can conjure up in the audience's mind the sea, the storm, the sky, whatever. At the same time, while it's pictorial, it's also extremely psychological music in that he can just find in a very simple way a way to convey the anger of Grimes, the sadness of Ellen Orford, but in a very simple, straightforward way.
And the mad scene of Peter Grimes is about to come. I'm very interested in it because I sing myself a lot of mad scenes. How did you work?
You get to be mad an awful lot, don't you?
But how did you work on this special mad scene with Tony and John?
It's a good question. Tony brings already a riveting performance with him. He has performed this piece before. And working with him at the piano, it wasn't so much getting him to interpret it differently, it was more getting a feeling for what he wanted to achieve with it. It's also a matter of placing the chorus, placing the foghorn, just actually theatrically making it work acoustically. I'd like to say...
Maestro, Radicals to the pit, please. Maestro, this is your call to the pitch.
I'd like to say I taught Tony everything I know, but he does it so wonderfully. It's a riveting scene.
Yes, yes, I think so too. Thank you very much,
You're
Maestro.
very welcome.
You're called to the pit.
You're very welcome.
So...
I'll give you this back.
Thank you. And now, the final act of Peter Grimes.
Your prettiness to me, I see the deed intendo thee. My signature, no graceful mark, a witness by the abetting dark.
Together we must save the lady-mated wife, the safety in all my lies. A man is always better, his conversation's better, provided that the tete-a-tete's
Assign your prettiness to me, I call it real property. Your sister shan't insist upon a stay of execution.
Signals for both men, you're like a broody hen, with eyes but with no ideas. But in the choice of pleasures, you show the coloured feathers, provided that the tete-a-tete's
I shall take steps to change her mind. She has first option on my love. If my appeal should be ignored, I'll take it to the House of Lords. Your prettiness to me will make an absolute decree. Quiet and joy, nature blessed, my sentences starts not well.
And he is chasing me, gives me no peace.
He went to the bar to have a glass. Sister and I will join him there. If you don't want Ned, you'd better stay here.
They're all watching. I must wait till Auntie's turned her back.
Oh!
Mr. King! Mr. King! Can you spare a moment? I've something to say that's more than urgent. About Peter Grimes and that boy. Neither of them was seen yesterday. It's more than suspicion now, it's fact. The boys disappeared.
Do you expect me to act like a Bow Street runner or a constable?
At least you can trouble to hear what I've got to say. For 2 days I've kept my eyes open. For 2 days I've said nothing, only watched and taken notes, pieced clue to clue, and bit by bit reconstructed all the crime. Everything points to Peter Grimes. He is the murderer!
Old woman, you're far too ready to yell blue murder. If people poke their noses into others' business, no, they won't get me to help them. They'll find this merry hell to pay. You just tell me where's the body.
In the sea, the apprentice lies, whom nobody has seen for days. Murder most foul it is, eerie I find it. My skin's a prickly heat, blood cold behind it. In midnight's loneliness and thrilling quiet, the history I trace, the stifling secret. Murder most foul it is, murder most foul it is, and I declare it.
Are you mad, old woman? Or is it too much laudanum?
Has Peter Grimes been seen?
He's away.
And the boy?
They're fishing likely.
Has his boat been seen?
Why should it?
His heart's abandoned.
I'm dry. Good night.
supper. We're not wanted here with hostess. Good night. It's time for bed. Good night. Good sirs, good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, good people, good night.
I looked in a moment, the company's gay, with pretty young women and youths on the spree. So much like my roses, but now the sun's down, I'll water my roses and leave you the wine.
Good night. Good night, good people, good night.
Good night, Dr. Crab, all good friends, good night. Don't let the ladies company too late. Don't let the ladies company too late. My love to the maidens, wish luck to the men. I'll water my roses and leave you the wine.
Good night. Good night. Good night, good people, good night. Good night. Good night, good people, good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, good people, good night.
Crime which my hobbies sweetens my thinking. Men who can breach the peace and kill convention. So many guilty ghosts with stealthy body trouble my midnight thoughts.
Is the boat in?
Yes, for more than an hour. Peter seems to have disappeared, not in his boat, not in his heart.
This I found down by the tide mark.
The boys.
My broidered anchor on a chest.
will find him. Maybe give him a hand.
We have no power to help him now. We have no power.
We have the power. We have the power. In the black moment, when your friends suffers unearthly torment, we cannot turn our backs. When the heart breaks one heart, all the hearts are broken, all are broken.
We shall be there.
We shall be there with him.
We shall be there.
We shall be there with him. We shall be Nothing to do but wait, since the solution is beyond life, beyond dissolution.
Mr. Swallow! 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 I want the lawyer Swallow! What do you want? I want the lawyer Swallow! He's busy! Fetch him, please! This is official business about the Barra criminal. Please do as I tell you. My customers come here for peace, for quiet, away from you and all such nuisances. This is an insult! You'll find an insult! An insult! An insult! You'll find this is an insult! An insult! An insult! An insult! An insult! An insult! My customers come here. They take their drink. They take their drink.
What's the I'm short-sighted, you know.
Look, it's blind as gold, but at last...
That's different. Hey! It's hot in there! It's hot in there!
Nothing to move in. It's my control.
Your constable of the borough, Carter Hobson. Aye, aye, sir. As the mayor, I ask you to kindly take lives. Take whatever help you need. What boy playing business out at sea. What is his boat? We'll send a passing to his hut. If he's not there, you'll search the shore, the marsh, the fields, the streets, the borough.
By cities all in the country night, if left to murder,
Let's
What is home? Calm as deep water. Where's my home? Deep in calm water. Water would drink my sorrows dry, and the tide will turn. Steady, there you are, nearly home. The first one died, just died. The other slipped and died, and the third will. Accidental circumstances. What to drink his sorrows, my sorrows dry, and the tide will turn. Peter Grimes! Here you are! Here I am! Hurry, 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 hurry! Now is gossip put on trial, bring the brandy and a knife, for what's done now is done for life! Come on, lend me, turn the skies back, and begin Joe has gone fishing, and young Joe has gone fishing.
and you'll know who's gone fishing when you land the next shore. Ellen, Ellen, give me your hand, your hand. There now my hope is held by you. If you leave me alone, if you...
Take away your hand! The argument finished, friendship lost, gossip is shouting, everything said. To hell with all your mercy! To hell with your revenge, and God have mercy upon you. Do you hear them all shouting my name? Do you hear them? Do you hear them? Oh, Davy Jones shall answer, come home, come home, come home, come home. Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, 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 Grimes. Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, Peter Grimes, Grimes, Peter Grimes.
We've come to take you home. Oh, come home out of this dreadful night. See, here's Bulstrode. Peter, don't you hear me?
Tidal waves, away from storms. What love I can embrace. Terrors and tragedies.
Come on, I'll help you with the boat.
No.
Sail out till you lose sight of land. Then sink the boat. Do you hear? Sink her. Goodbye, Peter.
sea, Coast Guard reports. Within reach. No. Let's have a look through the glasses.
Nothing I can see. One of these rooms